Welcome to Kaleidoscope, where we are positive, daring, different, and always ready for an adventure. So, we're off to Sarah Eller at Riverston Peak in Marthale, a hidden gem nestled among the greenest trees you will ever see, and there's a stunning hidden cave right behind the waterfall curtain that you can visit. The 10-meter high waterfall falls in two sections and is best visited in the last months of the year. So, you can visit it now. Later on in the show, we enjoy some cocktails with the Drunken Lunkens, get a reality check on the tourism industry, and get our thrills for speed with Asia's karting champ. To our wonderful partners on the show, Srilanka Live, CDB, The Daily Morning. Thank you for your continued support. You know Kaleidoscope is on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn, right? So if you like us, just subscribe, follow us, and that's all you have to do.
You can now start a CDB iDeposit digital fixed deposit and experience a range of special benefits from CDB.
And now we take a quick look at the week that was on CDB Snapshot. Sri Lanka's negative economic growth rate improves to negative 3.1%, a better figure than 2022's negative 11.5%. The Sri Lanka PMI indicates an expansion in service activities and a softening of the contraction in manufacturing activities for August 2023. Looks like the troops are rallying. South Korea pledges support for Sri Lanka's economic recovery plan, and the US and Sri Lanka strengthens bilateral trade and investment relations. Japan is turning grey. 1 in 10 people is now aged 80 or older. Apple unveils its newest software this week, the iOS 17, which includes FaceTime video messaging and live voicemail. A spacecraft left behind on the moon is causing small tremors or moonquakes. A man who fell in love and married a virtual anime character campaigns for fictosexual relationships. I guess anything goes these days.
You focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. Srilanka Life.
Welcome to Srilanka Life News Capsule. After a few difficult years, Sri Lanka's tourism is bouncing back. So far, we have welcomed over 950,000 visitors in 2023, and during the first 12 days of September, 46,308. The goal for the year is 1.55 million visitors, with Sri Lanka tourism anticipating 120,000 arrivals for September alone. We have earned $1.3 billion so far in 2023, reflecting a 56.7% increase from last year. Rohan Samarasinghe is the new chairman of Jetwing Hotels, with a career that began when he was just 20 when he joined the founder of Jetwing, Herbert Curray. I caught up with this veteran hotelier at Jetwing Colombo 7 to get a grip on the industry he is in. Now, Sri Lanka has been seeing some very good numbers when it comes to tourist arrivals. What do you attribute this to, given that Sri Lanka's primary markets, the UK and the EU, have been battling inflation as well as an impending recession?
After the setbacks we had over the last 4 years, the environment now is very conducive to tourism, and not only tourism, also for us to live in this country. And as a result of that, there is tourist inflow into the country, and also the air connectivity and the air accessibility has also improved. At the moment there are about 50 frequencies a day operating in and out of Ratnayaka, China opening out, and then the geopolitical factors around us has also contributed to this influx of tourists.
We are concentrating on growing numbers. Do you think this is the right way to go?
Right now, I think it's a situation where beggars can't be choosers. We have to open arms and get all the business that comes in here. But later on, I think with this our global marketing program that we have in hand, once that is established and the PR agencies are all set up all over the world, then I think we can hit the correct market, correct type of guests coming into Sri Lanka. But right now, I think we should, with open arms, grab all the guests that wants to come here.
What would be the ideal tourist you would like to see here in Sri Lanka?
We can't sort of point the finger and say this particular tourist. I think we should open our doors to all types of tourists, because that's how a country will have its full potential exposed when we have tourists coming with all kinds of from the middle to the lower to the high end. Because if you see, I mean, even the room capacity, inventories in the informal sector and formal sector can afford to take in more rivals into Sri Lanka.
If you look critically at our product and service offerings, where is there improvement needed?
I think definitely the infrastructure, because I think we need to improve our infrastructure in these visiting sites. Then also, I mean, our road network and our railways and all the other public transport has to increase. And then of course the hotels have to be refurbished. Similarly, all other service providers into the tourism industry like transport, all the other restaurants, all those things have to be improved.
So what's your vision for tourism in Sri Lanka?
My vision would be to be one of the top destinations in this region and to be able to provide the facilities so that of the guests who come here will go back satisfactory and will come back again to Sri Lanka.
And now for a peek at stocks, oil, gold in our market sketch. At the Colombo Stock Exchange this week, the all-share price index fell marginally by a percentage point, with turnover levels continuing to remain low. Saudi Arabia's production cuts continued to push oil prices to one-year highs at over $90 per barrel, and gold continued to lose its luster, heading back towards the $1,900 per ounce levels. UNESCO unveiled its new entries into the World Heritage Site list this week. A whole collective of amazing heritage sites from Russia, Ethiopia, ancient Rome, Congo, France, and Mount Pelée are now on the list. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Nigerian artist Chibuike Ifedilichukwu creates stunning portraits from discarded aluminium cans to address his country's waste problem. Baby gorilla Chaos had no parents and found comfort in the arms of his zookeeper, who became his unofficial dad. I've interviewed many amazing people on this show, and today I'm interviewing a true karting prodigy. This decorated champion is only 16 years old and he's taking the karting circuits by storm. Charya Seniviratne was recently crowned the Rock Asia champion for 2023 and then became the Rock Thailand champion for 2023 at Thailand's Rock Cup Championship. Now, Charya is qualified to race at the Rock World Final in Lonato in Italy next month. Looks like our child prodigy is going all around the world, as he will now represent Sri Lanka at the Asia Pacific Motorsport Championship 2023 before going on to Italy. Charya was conferred the Rising Star in Karting by the King of Thailand in 2021. He joins me from Bangkok today. Congratulations, Charya. Truly a privilege to have you on Kaleidoscope. Let me take you back a little bit to 2019. You are now the Rock Asian champion and Thailand's champion too. But in 2019, which was your very first placement, and that was when you were placed second in the Supercar Championship in Thailand in the cadet category. What were your goals then?
Well, at the time, as I was in the cadet category and it was my final year, of course, I was focusing towards the future. So my main focus was to try to become the #1 driver in Thailand in the junior category, which was the category above cadet. We aimed to do this by going to the X30 Asia event, which sadly got cancelled in 2020 due to COVID. We had plans to go with a Malaysian team called RL Karting. But of course, again, due to COVID, everything was cancelled and we had to go back to Thailand. However, the goal remained the same, and I was just trying to become as good as I could, as fast as I can, improving all the time.
What has been the most challenging for you when it comes to karting?
I think the most challenging part of karting that I've had so far has been the funding. Going against other drivers and opponents who have a much larger financial backing makes it a lot harder for me to keep up with them. As soon as we get onto track, they already have a big advantage as they can spend money on getting tuned engines, getting good coaching. So having a lack of that going into it means I'm already a couple steps behind them. So having to catch up and then trying to be quicker than them can be a big challenge.
And what has been most rewarding?
There is a direct correlation between the amount of effort you put in and the results. The harder I work and the more I learn about karting, the setups, how the engines are built and everything, it can get me closer and closer to matching up what the other drivers are doing, and eventually gives me a little bit of an edge on them.
So do you fly under the Sri Lankan flag or the Thai flag?
I race under the Thai flag because I have a Thai license. However, we are going to change that because there is a big event coming up, which Sri Lanka has picked for me to go and race for them. One of two drivers for Sri Lanka for the senior category. So in order to get the Sri Lankan flag to race under, I have to get a Sri Lankan license, and we are in the process of doing that.
What would you like to say to other young people who are, wanting to follow your footsteps?
Well, I have this quote that's been in my head that I've used for the last couple of years, and it's all about how freedom is on the other side of discipline. And I've been using this for the last few years because I've been in some tough times financially with racing really quickly. A lot of people will quit at the point where they're so close to success, but the ones that push that little bit extra are the ones that'll eventually reap the rewards. For me, of course, I was in that struggle a couple of years ago, and no longer than a month later, we had gone from being in the mid pack to being in the top 3 of every single race that I've entered.
So what's next for you?
In the close future, we have the Rock World Finals coming up. So World Championship for all of the national champions will come together for one race in Italy. It's going to be held in a circuit called Anato on the 14th of October. For that event, because I've won the Rock Asia Championship this year, I have got a ticket to race in the World Finals representing Asia. Then also we have the AP Motorsport Championship, which is coming up in late September, early October. And that championship picks 2 drivers from each country to represent their country in a race. So me, alongside one other driver, have been selected to run under Sri Lanka. And looking at my pace from the last race at that track, I think there's a good chance I can go and perform well there and hopefully bring home the gold medal for Sri Lanka. Later on, I have the goal of trying to move to cars. Of course, in Thailand, we have the Thailand Super Series, which is a major championship for car racing. And that is the main next step for a lot of drivers who have achieved what I have. So I think hopefully after winning this Asia title and going to the World Finals to represent Asia and Sri Lanka, hopefully that means I can skip a few categories and get into some bigger machinery pretty soon.
They are master mixologists and raising the bar, attending the bar. Ash and Jensen are the drunken lunkens and they mix up some great spirits. As the week winds up, take a load off, sip on a cocktail, and we'll see you next week.